Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Metamorphosis Group Virtual Career Academy. This is another interesting topic that we're going to talk about today. And wherever you guys are watching us from in the world, we hope that you're enjoying your time with the coaches and fellow attendees here in this conference. And we are joined today by an awesome team of career coaches from Metamorphosis Group. I'm Adrian.
I'm Jade.
I'm Roji.
Ziggy.
Yes, I'm Ziggy.
Okay, awesome. Well, today, guys, we're going to talk about the question or the topic why caring about news and current events are important in your career. Is it really that essential or masyado ba siyang parang masyado siyang stressful? Sino sa ating mga coaches? Sino sa ating mga team coaches ang gustong mag-share ng kanilang insights muna?
Well, let me start. First of all, I'd like to clarify that when you say current events, it does not have to be politics, no. So it doesn't have to be, knowing who's ahead in the surveys right now in the current presidential elections. Current events can be business related. So if whatever field of business you're in, you need to understand what is the current trends that's happening. So we can discuss that more as we go along. It can also, of course, be politics because whoever's going to win a certain election, you'll see what their policies are, and then from there, maybe some laws will be enacted that may affect your business. I have also personal experiences on that, and also a lot of other things. So it can be a lot of things related.
Thank you so much, Coach Sigi, for qualifying what current events actually mean. So it has a lot of components into it. So anyone wants to go at it first? What's your take on this? Is it really that essential? Or... Go ahead, Coach Jay.
Yes, I think nowadays it would be impossible for us not to know a little something because of what we are harnessing, the social media and other platform that we have. It's just there in the palm of your hand. And of course, I also believe that, information is power. It's actually how you use it that makes a difference kung paano siya. That's my take on that. So it's important.
I completely agree with the information you can use. And parang nakakaya, no, kung nagtatrabaho ka tapos hindi ka updated sa current events. Parang people would ask, saan ka ba nakatira? Sa kuweba? Or sa labas ng sibilisasyon?
And following the train of thought of Coach J that information is power. Nowadays, since information is shared in different platforms, may it be social media or probably in around your neighborhood, no, you really have to be informed because you may use this information in the type of career that you want to aspire for. Because right now, I think a lot of interviewers will they really ask for a lot of things about you, and if you are able to share things that you are very passionate about, whether it's going to be current events or things that you're into right now, like sports, they'll see that as a sign that you're very you're able to communicate well, and you're able to say the information that is on your mind. And actually, that's one of the things that a lot of interviewers are now looking for in candidates.
Yeah, thank you, Coach Roji. And for you guys, just for context, Coach Roji is a seasoned HR professional. So listen to this guy. You might get asked that question when you're applying for an interview, especially if you're applying in his company. Watch out, you guys. Coach Ziggy, any thoughts on this?
Well, there. Let me just give you some example of why being up to date with current events is very important. So I had a client before. I can't mention the name since we're actually recorded. So I had a business client, and you know, as a business consultant, I would review his financials, no? And then upon review, I saw that he was making, at least 500 to 600 million in revenue a year. And of course, with that comes a lot of taxes. So he was actually, of course, here in the Philippines, since I can't mention the name, but here in the Philippines, a lot of people would like to, do tax avoidance,
Right.
meaning, what are the possible ways not to pay fully the taxes, no? So the thing was, it's a family-owned business, and it's being run by him, by his wife and his sons, no? Apparently, what he didn't know was that, he's paying taxes for his industry, wherein the Philippine government has an incentive because in the current administration there's some industries that have incentives, no? He's actually paying for taxes in which if he applies for it, he doesn't need to pay any taxes at all. It's
Mm,
zero income tax.
wow.
So that's one key example of it. It's basic.
Right.
I mean, understand the laws that you are
Yeah.
currently in,
Mhm.
be up to date, and then from there, look at what are the possible ways. So that's one key example. Another example would be, this company that I was in also consulting for. He's working for a certain multinational based in the US.
Mhm.
And the thing was, looking the financials of that company, it's not growing anymore. And apparently, 60 to 70% of his business is is servicing that specific company. So I told him that you need to, well, of course, number one, having your customer, having your business relying on one customer, so 70% is actually a huge risk.
Mm,
But on the other hand, if you look at it on a long-term perspective, since the revenues of that company is not growing and they're not innovating, it's
mhm.
not good for your business to rely on that customer, because in the long run, they will no longer be there. So lo and behold, that was 5 years ago. Right now, looking at it, good thing that they followed my advice. They're going to another company already, which is actually growing better. And the current industry that current customer that they're servicing is no longer growing. No,
Mm,
so that's another example.
Yeah.
Another example would be from an individual standpoint. Let's say you want to start a career, but you're entering into a career that's already dying. But you want to have a career that's going to be 20 to 30 years down the road, assuming that you're a newly grad.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, that's those are the things that you should be looking at. Why are you going to enter a career that's dying? Why don't you enter into a career that 20 to 20, 30 years down the road is growing and will be there?
right.
So those are just classic examples, basic examples of why current events is very important for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach Ziggy. That's very parang a comprehensive example of current
Yeah,
events that you can use. Ano? And if I could just synthesize what Coach Ziggy mentioned, ano yun parang it helps you to do the right action. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
just imagine saving a lot of money for your business means a lot because
yeah,
it will help not only grow your profit, but it can also go to your people, the money that you're
yeah.
supposed to be using for those expenses.
True.
Diba? And
Agree.
so, for
Totally
you
agree.
guys who are watching us, please share in the comment section what current events you guys have recently heard that you found useful. We want to
Yes.
hear from you guys.
Yes. Well,
Coach Jake, you were saying something.
yes. Well, on the side, that's the other side. No? I'm glad that Coach Sige shared that when it comes to his experience as a consultant. As for me, as a parent as well, which is connected to your career, a lot of people, a lot of schools even encourage current events to be included in their curriculum, because this will create, or this will enhance the critical thinking of the students, right?
Mm.
Now, similar in that the same environment, similar to getting a career, just like Roji, Coach Roji, he wants that somebody who joins his company should be informed, properly informed of the things that is happening around, because when you are in a job, nobody will inform you that our company is this and it's connected to this. You have to be responsible to have all this information, because this could be your tool when it comes to planning. And my example to this one is that I used to be in a leadership position in a multinational company. It's so important to know where your company is at the moment, because we are publicly traded before, and
Right.
there were a lot of news around all over the world about our company, and a lot of things worry us. And at some point, you immediately predict there should be retrenchment sooner, because of how this company stand in the middle of all the things that is happening right now, especially if your company is an American company, or is
Right.
it whatever the things that is happening around the world. So it's so important, if you are there, don't take a backseat that somebody has to inform you. You have to be responsible of your information.
Correct. I like what you mentioned, Coach Jade, about parang keeping yourself abreast in the news, especially involving your company, because sometimes the people in HR, especially the people in charge of employer branding, should be able to know what people are talking about in regard to their company. For example, are they already known as something else compared to how they want to be perceived? But that's involved in brand management eh. Parang you want to be, for example, you want to be known as a bank that finds ways. But what's happening with this particular bank, di ba? So you have to be able to manage that.
Yeah, yeah. But your example is cute. Yes, that is true. I agree. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And also, I remember there was a time when I was getting interviewed by a fintech company, and they were asking me about the balance sheet of of
Mhm.
of a previous bank that I was connected with, and they were asking me terms that I should know, but I didn't know. So, but the good thing that worked for me during the interview was that I was aware of things that are actually happening around. So he talked about what is non-performing loans, and why is it that our bank before had quite not increase in non-performing loans. And at that moment, when I was being interviewed, I didn't know what the term is. But when the
Mhm.
interviewer explained it to me, I had an idea now. Why did that happen? Because back in 2020, pandemic happened, so a lot of people were not actually able to pay, and that was why they were able to. I was able to figure it out that the non-performing loans pertains to loans that are not performing, meaning they're not collected, and thus
Yeah.
the company is actually losing money based on
Wow.
this.
Okay.
Yeah, that is true. Parang ano lang din yan. Parang din sa, for example, you are, uh, well, we are talking about current events and news. It could be also be similar to how the pandemic happened, right?
Yeah.
So when you are planning a business and you're in the middle of a pandemic and you don't know any specific information that's coming in, 'di ba? So 2 years din 'yon, and every now and then all of us, 'di ba? Talagang hindi naman nakikialam. Talagang hinahanap natin ang future information, because especially the pandemic, it changes the level, it changes the way we handle or we manage our business or our workplace, how we're going.
Yeah.
Level 1 is this, level 2 is this. So it's so important to be aware as well. And when it comes to planning, like people in corporate or for those who are still starting a career. We always plan to incorporate or in you are a business, horizon siya mahaba, long-term ang plan mo. So you have to anticipate also. So knowing a lot of information, even politics, health, or anything that is current is so important when you plan all these things, especially if you're planning for the future of your business, starting from the start or the end of the year.
Correct. And just to share with you guys, the current events that we're talking about here are not only the heavy news. It could also be lighthearted. It could also be even showbiz. Like for example,
Yeah.
I'm sure alam nyo na, no, nahiwalay na si John Lloyd at si Ellen Adarna at kasal na
Tagal na nun.
si Ellen
Bakit
Adarna.
yan? I'm not informed. Wasn't
I'd
informed.
like to share an experience on this. So I used to work for Procter and Gamble before, so that was a long time back. And during my interview, of course, you're gonna be, since you're gonna be starting out in your career, you're gonna be interviewed by a lot of people. So your stages you're in, you're gonna be interviewed by different people all the way higher up. And I just remember that during one of my interviews, of course, it's important for them to show you. I mean, for you to show them that you're well versed, you're well read, and all of that stuff. Partly, he was interested into Formula One and golf. I don't drive Formula One cars. I don't play golf, but apparently I'm well read about it. So we had a lengthy discussion about who's leading the Formula One, why at the time Ferrari was doing well, why Ferrari is good. And then since he was an Indian, his surname was Singh, and at the time the U.S. Open champion was DJ Singh. So I even joked, "Oh, are you even related to the guy?" and all that stuff. So from that interview, I can recall, it became very light. It somehow, it was an icebreaker. It became friendly, and it became personal because you're well read in all of these things. And since I was working for Procter, I was going to apply for Procter and Gamble. I had to read up on what's the market share of Safeguard and all of these brands. No? So you're applying for that. You need to know what's the current events for that company, for those brands that they're covering. So those are the things that will arm you if you're applying for a job, if you're getting interviewed by these people. So all of these things.
Oo. In fact, yung sabi nga kanina ni Adrian, showbiz, diba? So ako nang mag-break dun sa topic na yun.
Sasabihin lang po ako, baka hindi lang napapansin ni Coach Roji at
Oo nga,
pati
diba?
ng ating mga audience na tingnan nyo naman, sino makahawig ng artista ni Coach Jade? I-comment nyo nga yan. Kasi when I first saw Coach Jade, ang naalala ko ay si LG, si Orna Tolentino.
Talaga? Diba? So anyway, thank you Adrian. Buti na lang nandiyan ka. Ikaw rin sumagot.
Ay, meron din po kung kamukhang Coach Jade. Alam niyo po ba kung sino yung sinasabi na lang kamukha akong artista?
Sino?
Sabi nila kaboses ko din daw siya. Sabi nila kamukha ko daw yung artista sa General Luna.
Oh, yes.
Or Celia.
Yeah, my future si Adrian. So anyway, when it comes to show business, why is it important also? So, 'di ba, hindi naman parang ang iba, they don't consider show business or any of this information, fashion, business and beauty not is so important, but it is important. For example, show business. I am from a beauty company before, so when we choose our models, we always check on them. Importante yung image who they are involved with, because it will also affect the branding of your company. So, in fact, meron kaming nakakatawang situation before na the face of this model, this artista has been plastered in all of our December campaign. Then boom, biglang hindi namin alam may boyfriend pala siya ng secret, and it was a big scandal. So we have to retract everything, and it's already
item si Coach Jade. The who? Sino
Oh,
ba ito?
sino kaya yun? Yeah, so you see, information is so important. Big or small or it's fun information, it's key, di ba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sa buhay natin, di ba?
And what you guys can see right now is that um, it actually being updated with current events, whether that's light or heavy news, connects you and bonds you with other people. So there's an emotional aspect to it. What's at stake is your relationships, and what's more important in this life is more than just possession and material, is the relationships, the quality of your relationships, diba? So, and the fastest way, bukod sa food, to people's heart is through laughter. When you make them laugh.
Yeah.
Kagaya nung kinuwento ni Coach Ziggy kanina sa interview, di ba? It was his job, di ba?
Yeah. And actually, when you're able to relate to your interviewer or probably to someone in that company through current events, it actually deepens the relationship.
Yeah,
At the same
agree.
time, it fosters the culture that the organization is. No, hindi lang siya one-sided. It's about business and professional life lang. No, it makes
Correct.
the company and the brotherhood, the community, the relationship in the company lighter, and also you can see that you can actually talk about anything under the sun. You know? So they're also talking about psychological safety in the
Yep.
workplace, and which is actually becoming a buzzword right now, wherein people can really have the freedom to be able to say anything without really getting defensive about it, no? And that's
Mhm.
something that I think a lot of workplaces should actually continue to employ.
Yep. I
Mm.
like what Coach Roji mentioned about psychological safety. Kasi as an emotional intelligence trainer, no, yung having an experience of multitudes of emotions is part of the human experience. And when you're feeling that with other people, whether that's anger or joy, and when you share it with someone else, parang nasa-strengthen yung tribe nyo eh. And this was also mentioned by Coach Roji kanina. Parang lumalalim yung inyong relationship. Kasi parang meron ding tinatawag na ano eh, sabi ni Brene Brown, yung parang common enemy closeness na parang because you guys are anti this person, so in a way it forms your relationship kasi pareho kayo na ayaw niyo tong taong to, parang gano'n, di ba?
Yeah.
True. You have something to contribute at the water dispenser talk.
Correct. And that
You
is
know
what
that, like every lunch break, you magkuha ka ng water and then somebody talks to you. So you always have something to
yeah,
contribute
parang
if
may
you have a lot of
contribution ka di po ba, Coach Jade? And that is actually what's missing right now in the work from home setup. We are
Mm-hmm.
missing the connection that happens in the canteen, in the elevator, when you're walking
Yeah.
down the stairs, when you're going out to Jolly Jeep in Makati and eating lunch. Wala nang ganun eh, di ba? It's so hard.
malapit na siguro. But if I may throw this question to all of us here right now, when is too much information also dangerous? How it will affect our careers as well? Like I mentioned a while ago that information is power, right? But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes
Right.
it also creates bias. If you
Mm,
have too much
Yeah.
information about something and then you come to an interview or you are with a client and you created bias because of the information you learned. So you have to be careful also about that. You can always use it to your advantage and not to disadvantage you.
I just like to share something about what Coach Jade mentioned. Kasi
Mm-hmm.
there really are red flag topics eh, di ba, in the office. Especially if you're applying for a job and you're not yet close to the person. Kasi the principle there is that when you don't know people yet, it's easy for you to get offended, eh, to get
Yeah.
irritated. But when you know them, when you already have a relationship with them, parang you tend to overlook pag nagkakamali sila. So if, for example, you are in an interview and you are in the opposite side of, for example, the politics, nako,
Mm.
you might not be hired. So you have to be very careful about that, di ba?
The best, ano ba best? Dapat neutral. No? Because until you know kung ano, no? You
Yeah.
have to be neutral. Even with the customer, of course, we don't assume.
And siguro
That,
yung aking masasabi lang din dyan is that sometimes, like ako, for example, personally, I did not buy a TV at home because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be bombarded by negative news. Kasi that's what's always highlighted, di ba? Yung
Yeah.
negativity. Eh ako kasi before, I suffered with chronic depression, like in 2019 when I was clinically diagnosed. So I really stay
mm,
away from negativity as much as possible. And most of the time, I get my news from the social media feed or
Mm.
on LinkedIn or from my friends, parang ganyan. So we have to be careful din eh. Parang that's what
yes.
Coach Jade is hinting at earlier, di ba? Of what kind of news do you want to consume? And
Yeah.
do you wanna get parang soaked up into it? Or do you want to distance yourself because it already harms your mental health? Di ba?
Yes. And you have to be aware also intentional where you're going to get it because not everything on Facebook is real information or
Mm.
Correct.
IG. We have to be very mindful also where we
Yeah.
get it. Parang chismis lang yan.
Mhm.
Kung
Yes.
reliable ba yung source mo o hindi, di ba? So, we have to
We,
be careful.
we also have to
Meron ako,
verify the information, no, that we gather from different
Mm.
platforms. No?
yes.
So
Mm-mm.
it should not be parang a pool of fake news. And we're able naman to determine what fake news is and what is real news.
Mm-mm.
And I think we have the capacity to be able to filter what is actually the news that will help us in our day-to-day living. And I think yun
Yeah.
yung mas mahalaga doon that we need to be conservative about.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd like to share one example. No? Since the war in Ukraine is happening between Russia, so I'm actually reading a lot of topics about it. And apparently, if you just read on CNN and all of these UK publications, it's going to be a one-sided thing. No? So I'd rather, I want to be balanced as well in terms of seeing what's happening. So I would go to, for example, just an example, I would go to Al Jazeera or I'll go to some Indian publication to see what their points of views are. Because if you're just focusing on CNN, like
Right.
apparently when Donald Trump won the election, for example, obviously CNN is pro-democratic. So during the whole Trump administration, when I open the TV at 9 o'clock on CNN, it's perfectly. I mean, while I eat breakfast, I would hear all the ranting I can hear about the Trump administration.
Mhm.
But now that the Biden administration is there, I mean, you don't hear CNN talk about anything bad about Biden, no? So, I mean, that's the thing that you want to to look at. I mean, you need to somehow try to understand as well how these publications work, how these media agencies work, and then from there decide, be more balanced and go elsewhere as well. So, just don't focus on just one. Try to look at others as well. So same thing also here. I mean, you just focus on Facebook. You need to, of course, not only see the source, but it may. Kasi I always tell people, history is based on history or current events is based on who is telling it, who is telling the
Mm.
story,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
apparently each have their own point of view.
Yeah.
Right.
So there.
I highly support Coach Ziggy's encouragement to be non-biased and to take a balanced perspective of things, and that's very important principle in leadership. And for example, when you're dealing with HR issues, you have to look at opposing views. For example, you are the arbiter and two people are presenting their cases, di ba? Importante na narinig mo yung both sides. And also at the same time, it's very, very important as leaders that we know how to admit mistakes and to
Mhm.
apologize when necessary. Because sometimes we based our information based on wrong information pala, ganyan, and it already hurt someone else. Kaya naman importante na bine-verify natin yung mga news na nasasagap natin. Kasi kung minsan, parang yung mga clickbait nila, pag doon ka lang nagbase, ay nako, you will be misled. Ang dami mga clickbait tactics yun na nakakairita. Speaking of that, can I just ask one question? Ano naman yung mga bagay na nakakairita sa inyo in terms of current events? Kagaya ng mga clickbait headline, ganyan.
Well, sa akin yung sensationalism of delivery. Like, I'm so sorry for those people watching local news. It's always like that. They added music, they added all of these things. But actually, the news is the news. Right. You just have to deliver it, right? And sometimes some people also, when they report in the field, parang may halong, when you're supposed to deliver the news, walang mali siya, diba? So, that's what I don't like when it comes to the delivery of the news. And of course, the usual, the clickbaits and all that, yung mga pictures na nilalabas. Then people, especially the young ones, they look at the pictures first before they open the content. So, yun ang nakakainis din for parent like me.
What I hope to happen in the Philippines talaga is, one of my dreams for our country is that there will be a stricter enforcement of laws in terms of fake news. Kasi,
actually, the issue is not only here naman eh. The issue is everywhere. I mean, to give an example, there are a lot of media outlets that portray something in the headline, but when you read through it, it's not actually reflective on what's in the headline. So just this morning, I read that Burger King franchise does not want to close shop in Russia. So all of a sudden, if you look at the comments, a lot of Americans say, "I don't want to eat in Burger King anymore." Blah 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 blah. But if you look at it, if you open the link, if you open the actual article and read through it, it just so happened that Burger King had a joint agreement with a Russian oligarch who runs 300 outlets there in Russia. Obviously, that oligarch will not close his 300 stores. Yeah. But even though Burger King, the main office there in the US, already says that we will not support you, we're closing down shop, the guy from Russia says, "I don't care, I will still run it." So from there, I mean, if you look at the headline, the Burger King does not want to close, it's like, what? I don't want to eat there anymore. But so that's one thing, that's one pitfall. So it's a clickbait. So of course, the problem is others won't even have the time to read it anymore. They'll just read the headline. That's it. And then there's even another example of there's a quick picture of an artist, but finally if you click on it, it's not the article is not about that artist. So those are so it happens everywhere. So I don't think there's any laws that you can put in. You just have to be vigilant and need to read between the lines. Just don't make hasty summarizations based on what you read in the headline or in the picture.
Yep. And for those of you guys who are watching us, I hope you are enjoying the discussion so far. We would like to hear in the comment section kung ano yung mga bagay na iirita ninyo about current events. Let us know your thoughts too.
Yeah. Ako, I think another nakakairita would be yung sumasakay minsan sa trend. News that you feel that are parang pinipilit na lang just so that they'll be able to ride on what is happening right now. And I think so it's a double-edged sword, no? With it might go a good way for branding for some companies, but sometimes it might be too much already. And for me, I think what would really be applicable to me, that I'm looking for a career, is something that will be that something that can relate to, like for my case, I'm in a bank. News about what are the trends in the banking industry, as well as what's current trends in terms of the disruption that happened over the past 2 years. In the Philippines, there's fintech has been gaining traction over the past 2 years, and a lot of companies are trying to start their company in the Philippines. Last year we had 6 licenses awarded to six digital banks, and this year they're gonna be doing a lot of operations in the Philippines, and that gives us a preview of the kinds of careers that a lot of people are actually uh, moving towards, no. And knowing well the current events also will provide you clues on what career to take in a period of time. I
That's right.
remember, no, when nursing was becoming a trend, but eventually, without having hindsight, that probably that trend will actually fall down. Probably, not a lot of students would have gotten into the nursing bandwagon at that time.
Thank you, Coach
True.
Roji, for your take on that. And for those of
That's
you guys who are watching, I'm sure we have a lot of graduating students and those who are searching for their jobs. It's very important that you control what you take in, and at the same time, be proactive in what you want to feed yourself with, what kind of information that you can use. Kagaya nung, for example, nung nabanggit ni Coach Jordan kanina, if you're interested in getting into the banking industry and you're from another industry, then you better read up on the current events in relation to the industry that you want to enter, di ba? Coach Jade, meron po kayong sasabihin?
Well, I was just thinking, kasi my son is studying college now, and he realized one day that in 5 years' time, in 6 years' time, his studies would be obsolete because of
Wow.
technology. Yeah, he realized it. And
Oh,
what
wow.
he did, he asked his professor what will happen. Of course, all schools will say na ma-obsolete. But then eventually last week, there was a seminar coming from another university in India and telling them that there is another way for them to upgrade themselves
Mm.
to
Right.
be 5 year ready, and then taking another set of board exam for them so that they can transition when their current position in that basic function will be transitioned to all digital
Yeah.
facility. So that's a key information as well for all of those watching right now na sabi nga 'di ba na yung job mo ba, I think there is this app actually to to understand if your job can be taken by a robot. I don't know if you have that. We had that quiz before or that
Right.
app before. So it's
Artificial
important to know
intelligence.
this information as well if you are in your senior high school and then you know in 20 years time, well, my job or my studies would still be aligned in the current industry or in the technology that we will be enjoying in the future. It's
Yeah,
important.
that is
Ate,
why.
I want to say I agree and disagree with Coach Jade. I agree that it's going to be changing, but I disagree it is 5 years. It's not even going to be faster.
Mm-hmm.
5 years is, probably two cycles already
Right.
of change. Kumbaga, the problem kasi with schools now is if you read in the textbook a certain technology, I mean, from the time it was written, to the time it was published,
Yeah.
and all of that, ano na yun umandar na ng 3 taon parang ganun Then
Yeah.
another 3 years, di ba? So, kumbaga, it's gonna be, whatever it is that you're reading is going to be obsolete most likely already.
In
Now, and then in the next 3 years, another one na naman. So, if you're a student, how do you, the important is you learn the skills.
Yep.
Mm.
You're diligent, you know how to research, you do number crunching and all of that. In terms of specific information, there are a lot of courses na online. No? That's the beauty of the internet. Everything's online. If you want to learn
Yeah.
something up to date, you can search for it. If you want to learn the latest trends, everything is online.
Yeah.
So you just focus on what's written in the textbook. Mukhang chances are, I mean, for example, I used to be into programming, no? Back in the day. So I was learning about JavaScript, for example. And, it was Java 1.0, but apparently the new one is, 4 na. Kasi yung nasulat na si libro, kay labas na, yung parang ganun ba? So, kumbaga, you need to really research it, di ba? So parang on that aspect lang alone. Parang yun, I
Agree.
had a client also, I was doing Android programming. Kasi there was a client who wanted to, he wanted to have a mobile app for his company. So, yung libro was for Android 5, ano ba yung Android yun? Mga 11 yata or 12, parang
Yeah,
mga ganun
11
ba?
na.
So, di ba? So, yun, kailangan talaga, hindi ka lang babasa ng libro, kailangan mag-research ka na online.
Yes.
Oo.
Oo.
So parang i-treat natin, Coach Ziggy, na parang iPhone lang yan. Ganun siya kabilis magpalit ng model.
Yeah.
Before, kumbaga there's this what do you call this? Parang saying na yung information ng internet in 2 years yata was equivalent to the whole 1,000 years of world history. Parang ganun nakadami yung information yun.
Yeah.
So parang so ganun nakabilis ang information, and that's how information is, and how tech is changing so quickly. And current events and
Yeah.
whatever it is under the sun, it changes very quickly now.
Grabe si Coach Ziggy, ang dami kong natututunan sa'yo, Coach Ziggy. I feel like I found another fellow lifelong learner. Si Coach Ziggy para siyang si Kuya Kim. Ayoko sabihin na Ernie Baron kasi mahala tayong edad
Everything
natin.
under the sun.
Pero para sa si Kuya Kim, ang dami niya. He's so well informed. Parang na-update din ako sa other current events na ko nasasagap. So that is
Galing
why
yata sa sports yan.
Online lang. Everything is online.
Yeah.
Everything is online.
that's why what we guys are saying in this particular section of the discussion is that education never stops. It doesn't end in school. We have to continue upgrading our knowledge because as we age, para tayong magiging wine na mas lalong sumasarap habang tumatanda kung patuloy tayong nag-aaral. And this is a very timely discussion, di ba? Because this is the virtual career academy after all.
Yeah. Oo. I remember I attended a conference in Korea, South Korea back then, and it was and they were actually talking about topics on improving the educational industry partnership, because much of the jobs that we're offering right now in the Philippines are not at par with what the industry is actually or is demanding, and I think if we have that improved partnership on what kind of jobs should be available for the graduates, I think the education that we have in the Philippines will be quite relevant. Right now, I think lumalabas na that one of the key jobs right now is data science, and a lot of universities right now in the span of 2 years were able to develop a course on that. And then there's game development. So there's a school, my alma mater, LaSalle, they have a game development course that they developed during the span of the pandemic. And since it's online, it's just fitting that they offer it online as well. And I think a lot of kids are really happy right now. Siguro lalo na yung mga gamers that there's already a course for them na even though it's already a profession for some of them, they can now see that it's already a career, that they can actually maximize.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Ako,
true.
if I have anything to say about games, mahalata na naman yung edad ko nito.
Tatakot ako. Ano yun?
Yung pinakahuling nag-game ako ay mga family computer, yung mga Super Mario. Sobrang nakakagulat, di ba? Kasi pinagkakakitaan na pala ngayon yung mga Dota. May
Streaming.
Ganyan. Wow, this is amazing.
People stream when they play.
Actually, if you think that you need to be a streamer or you need to be a pro gamer to make money, if you actually research just now blockchain gaming, a regular casual gamer can make money, it doesn't have to be a lot of money, but it's going to be, some sort of money, like at least 5,000 a month, for example, is good enough just playing a favorite game. So, back in the day, in terms of the industry, yes, you have to be, back in the day, you need to be a professional streamer, a pro gamer to make money. But now, with all these people playing all these play to earn games, you can make some money. You don't have to be a pro, just be a casual gamer. So that's one
Sure.
example of current events in that space.
Yeah, it's a career already. Para lang yung noon, di ba? Na parang we don't consider content creator as money-making. But it is now, di ba?
Yeah.
So parang ganun din sa gaming na people earn from it also. And then they're enjoying as well.
Speaking of content creator, another thing also that is parang talagang kumakalat like virus in the internet is yung TikTok, ano? And yung nabanggit ni Coach Jade na content creator, yung ibang mga tao, yung ibang mga bata ngayon, mga digital natives, Gen Z, they want to be an influencer. Papakit ka lang sa TikTok, ganyan, magpapaganda. Pero yung ibang, marami rin namang mga informative na mga content sa TikTok. Are you guys, by any chance, have seen any TikTok videos that you guys liked?
Si Coach Adrian yata eh.
There are a lot of TikTok videos na medyo parang what am I gonna learn from this? Kasi it's all about, somebody dancing, But there are some TikToks that are actually very educational. So apparently, for lack of the better term, the current generation is somehow impatient. And before, if you need a 10-minute YouTube video, it's fine. But now you need to compress everything in 1 minute so that people will, even try to even bother learning it. So that's where TikTok becomes very important. No?
Yes.
So there are channels that are very educational. In fact, I saw one TikTok video about the metaverse. So Facebook changed their name to the metaverse, and first, that's one current example of current events in which you need to start learning what the metaverse is, which is going to be the future. And then from there, I saw a TikTok video in you're practically in a classroom, and then there's a teacher writing down in a blackboard, and then you're writing down your notes, and you're in the virtual world. It's like you're like literally talking to people left and right. You're inside the classroom already. Who knows, that will be the future of classrooms. No? You don't need to be there specifically. You're just gonna wear virtual gear, and then you're gonna be sitting beside somebody, and then you're gonna be high-fiving that person, and then a teacher's writing down notes in a blackboard, and then it's gonna be like a true virtual experience. In fact, I was watching this TV show called Picard. So it's Star Trek. So for those who are Trekkie fans, there's actually a hologram room wherein you enter that room, and it's actually virtual reality. Everything looks real. So apparently that's what Zuckerberg wants in the future. I mean, that's the end state. So those are the baby steps to get to that end state.
Yeah.
Now we're learning new information. Coach, we were learning new information. Galing.
Grabe, tayo ay mga certified marites ngayon. I hope you guys are enjoying our discussion. If you have any questions at all, please
Parang gusto ko na magtanong tuloy lahat na lang kay Coach Ziggy. Kasi ang dami. Ako na yung part ng Q&A. Ako na mag-question, tanong sa kanya.
Speaking of si Coach Jam, one of our awesome career coaches in Metamorphosis group, has a TikTok. Coach Jam, free advertisement to. Ano nga TikTok handle, Coach Jam?
I know also a coach in my community who has TikTok, or meron siyang TikTok, and he does a short coaching via TikTok. So anything can be done in TikTok. It's fun kasi, diba?
Yep.
And then also speaking of TikTok, it's also good to note that the consumption of information has actually shortened a little bit, no? I remember I was actually presenting to our pool of trainers and I was telling them the span of our participants is actually 10 minutes. But now, 1 to 2 minutes na nga lang ngayon, eh, no? So,
Right.
it also shows that in that development, we as I'm an HR professional and also specifically on learning and development, no, we need to be able to cater to that new audience right now na their parang patience na right now is so little that we have to provide already the gist of the topic in the first 2 minutes for them to be hooked into our
Correct.
presentation. And in the next few years, this particular audience that are consuming TikTok right now will be our future customers, no? And that speaks volume of how we need to prepare for them, for people who are actually making a career out of what they're doing right now.
Actually, it doesn't have to be. You need, that's actually a skill that's important. Not only, I mean, it's a basic skill. I think I would say. Let me give you an example. When I was working for Procter & Gamble, that was more than 15 years ago. When I'm going to give an update to management, it has to be a one-pager because they're so busy. You need to
Yeah.
my project, everything, updates, the cost, the timelines, everything should be in one page. No? So, kumbaga, and then I'm going to be talking to a manager. I mean, a top level manager. It's like, give me an update, 5 minutes, on what the update is, no? So it's actually a skill. It doesn't have to be, you don't need to be a content creator to have to learn that. I mean, it's a requirement for everyone, I would think, because it's a good way to communicate to people if you're able to communicate effectively and in a shortly and timely manner, no? Everything in a concise manner, and then all ano siya, kumbaga all encompassing. No, it's actually a very important skill.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, as much as we would like to continue on with this discussion because we're learning a lot from each other, I think we really have to wrap up. Today has been an interesting discussion. Please watch out for more upcoming content and prepare your questions in the Q&A section. We have some team of coaches who will be responding to those. And we are Team Metamorphosis Group. We build your life starting from your career. I'm Adrian.
I'm
I'm
Jade.
Sandro, Ziggy,
I'm Coach Roji.
Stay healthy and
and Coach
happy,
Ziggy.
everyone.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay,
See you
thank you
around.
very
Bye.
much, guys.
Bye.
See you around. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Hi
Hi.
everybody. Are we live again? Are we back?
Yes, we are.
Oh, where are you, Ziggy? We should see your face.
Yeah. My ring light. Apparently, in the video, you saw that the ring light
Mm-mm.
disappeared.
Mm.
So my ring light conked out. So okay naman, as long as you can hear me.
Yeah,
I believe
sure.
we have some questions.
Yes, unfortunately, Roji and Adrian will not be here kasi meron silang another activity. So let's answer the question, Siggy, right? Let's read them. Uh, Somebody said, you guys mostly talk about socio-political stuff. What about history and culture? How important is this sa learning or for the career? Of course, it's important, no? Kasi this is for me, no? If I'm going to answer your question, this is for me. Importante talaga na alam mo yung culture and history mo. I think that is the reason why in school it is being taught kasi it's part of your parang kung base, no, and what you're going to do in the future. Knowing who you are is so important. And of course, if you're a Filipino and you live abroad, there are things, part of our history and culture, that is your parang base mo siya, and you can also use this in the future in your future decisions or ventures. So it's so important to know because that is your identity. What do you think, Siggy?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't exactly say that it was taught to me in school, but when I worked for Procter and Gamble, I used to work with a lot of Indians, with a lot of Polish Americans, Latin Americans, even Russians. So you need to in Japanese. So for example, for Japanese, I was wondering when I was a new hire, I was wondering why we'd in the emails we would address them as san. So for example, um, Zandro-san, or yeah, there's always a san in the end. So it's only there I noticed that that's how their culture is. And then um, you know, they have their own different quirks in terms of how you talk to them. Of course, if you have small talk with them, there are some topics that are very sensitive in their culture. So you need to understand that. So that's one thing with regards to culture. With regards to history, there are so many things that you can apply in history versus in real life business. For example, game theory, I will not discuss more into that, but there are a lot of concepts there that you can apply in real business life. So yes, we were not able to discuss social history and culture, but it's also important. Okay, I can't hear you anymore.
I'm sorry.
There.
Okay, I
Yeah.
hope that answers the question. So our next question is, sa'yo to, Coach Ziggy, does it matter to be friends with big shot oligarchs?
Well, okay. The fact of the matter is, in this world, it would be dishonest for me to say that no, it does not matter. I mean, if you have access to these people, then it's actually, of course, a big plus. I mean, in this world, connections still do matter. That's why in the US, if you have a startup and you start it up in Silicon Valley, it's a big plus because all the people are there. If you have connections to a person like Bill Gates or to all these big individuals, I'm not sure if you've read about this story about the founder of Tyrannos. She's a
Yeah.
she's actually a female. Um, Actually, there's a story about it. Elizabeth Holmes has connections with all of these big startups, big venture capitalists. She's able to raise money for her startup, no? So without those connections, she won't be able to raise that money. But the only issue there was that she actually ran a scam. So that's a different question altogether. But she wouldn't have raised all that money if she didn't have all these connections, no? So there's so many, you know, how they call this? So many examples of, having connections in this world still do matter. Apparently, we aren't still in that state yet. We're in, you will be able to, of course, you'll be able to succeed with your own merits, but of course, connections still do matter.
Mm. It's an advantage. It's an advantage if you have,
Yes.
I would say. Yeah. Okay, so we have another one here. It says, can you speak on how world news is never really an isolated event and have ripple effects elsewhere? Well, of course, we all know that right now, especially what is happening when it comes to the issues of the conflict of two nations. We know how it impacted us right now when it comes to
Mhm.
prices of gas, no? Itong lahat na ito. So, world news is important, no? Itong mga current event na to always have ripple effect. Some of it might be small or hindi masyado dito sa atin sa Philippines, but what is happening right now really has a big impact sa atin ngayon. What do you think, Coach Sige?
Yes. When there was war in Afghanistan or in Syria, apparently there was not much effect when it comes to oil and gas prices. But apparently, with Russia, it has a huge effect on us, primarily because they're one of the primary producers in the world. So yes, it's a case-to-case basis. There are a lot of things that with this Ukraine war, there are a lot of other ripple effects that we haven't felt yet. Maybe with regards to food prices. So we'll see. We'll see. No, hard to say right now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I think the next question is like similar to what you answered or yung sinabi sa'yo kanina. How important are partnerships and with influential institutions and individuals? I think it's the same
Yeah.
question. It's an
Yeah.
advantage, I would say. It's an advantage if you
In
have.
other words, the moral of the story is you need to do some networks. You need to do
True.
some networking.
Mm.
In fact, there are many ways to do it. Get mentors. Get mentors who will, mentor you, and these people will introduce you to other people. So that's
Mm.
one. There are many, many, many ways. You can speak to us in in Metamorphosis group to help you with regards to that.
Yes, yes. And this virtual fair is another way to, network, right? So,
Yes, yes.
I'm glad that you are here, di ba? Yung mga nandito ngayon. Okay, we have another question here. Says here, para sa iyo to, Coach Ziggy and Coach Roji. How important is observing financial activities in the market?
Maybe if you could qualify what do you mean by observing financial activities. But if I understand it correctly, if it's understanding prices of, what does financial activities mean observing? So I didn't quite get the question. If you could clarify it more. But if it's with regards to monitoring all prices, then obviously it's you don't need to monitor it anymore. It's coming out in the consumer prices already. But if you clarify more.
Parang vague kasi siya.
Uh,
Vague siya. So maybe we can just ask that question and answer that na lang sa comment. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question.
Okay. What do you mean, no? If it affects you, if you're into investing, if you're into trading, of course you need to check the long-term and short-term stock prices. If you're into trading, if you're into long-term investing, then it's a different situation altogether. Kasi for me, if you're into long-term investing, you shouldn't be looking at stock prices because let's give you a quick example. Let's say you're invested in a company like in the Philippines. Let's say you're invested in BPI. How does or Ayala Land or I don't know any company here in the Philippines? How does the war in Ukraine affect that company per se in the long run? When in fact they don't have any operations in Ukraine, no? I know that stock prices are going down right now because of all these the volatility is so high and all the price are going down because of negative sentiment due to this war. But the fact of the matter is we don't have all our PSE companies here do not have exposure in Ukraine, no? So what now, diba? If you're long-term investing in that company and the company is still growing and their outlook is intact in terms of their plans, then you should just go with the flow. Why get affected with outside news?
True. I hope that answers the question, no? Kasi stocks ang tinatanong niya. Okay, another question here. What will happen if I just don't care about the news and current events? Will I not get a job that way? Well, getting a job is another factor. Your qualification is another factor of getting a job. So being informed is another factor. How somebody will read you if you qualify the job. So I don't think naman if you don't care about the news, it will affect. It will affect in a way, but it really depends on the your qualifications as well. Paano ka makakuha ng trabaho? But it would matter. It's a tool. As I mentioned a while ago, information is power. So if you know more, you have more options you are informed in making decisions. So it's important. But it's not na yun lang ang dahilan na hindi ka makakuha ng trabaho. It really depends pa rin sa qualifications mo and skills. What do you think, Coach Ziggy?
Well, okay. For me kasi, being involved in worldviews and history, politics, culture, and all these makes you a well-rounded person. And that has an effect not only on your career, but in your life. Being a well-rounded person. If you're just focused on just one thing, if you close your world in a shell, in the outside world, let me tell you this: if you're not up to date, we all know that you need to change in order to adapt. If you don't know what's happening, the new things that are happening in the world, how are you going to be able to adapt, and how will we be able to survive in this world wherein change is happening so fast, so quickly? Before you know it, you become obsolete already. So I'll throw the question back to you, to that person who asked that. I can't hear you again. You got disconnected.
Oh yeah,
Or-
oo nga. Oh yeah, another question here is that a coworker laughed at me for not knowing who Kim Jong-un is of North Korea. Should it really be a big deal to know these figures? You haven't heard of Kim Jong-un, so
Oh, well, yun na nga yung yun na yung sinasabi ko eh.
connected siya eh.
Person. Hindi mo na alam yun, pinagtawanan ka. So, alam mo yun, baka pag-isipin ng coworker mo na ano ba naman tong tao na to, mga basic lang, di alam, mga ganun. Not saying that person will, but those things have ripple effect. Baka sabihin niya kung kanino man or ano man, ito naman tao na to, mga ganun bagay, hindi niya alam, mga ganun. So I'm not gonna say that person will pagkakalat niya yon. But yun na nga, these things are, syempre in the corporate world, merong mga politics yan, merong perception yan on how people see you, di ba? Chismis yung mga ganun ba? So yun lang. Maybe no big deal. So I don't know, di ba? So can be a big deal in the future if you go higher up in the ladder. So yun lang. That's why read up. That's all I can say. Read up.
True. Okay, finally may isang question dito. Are there jobs? I can be open about my socio-political beliefs. Are there those that I cannot be? I don't. Would you like to answer this, Ziggy?
Are there jobs that I can be open about my socio-political beliefs? Well, okay. You mostly in private organizations, it's fine. It's fine to but of course in a how do you call this, in a timely manner, and a how do you call it, civil manner, you can let's say you're in a multinational corporation, you're discussing socio-political things, it's fine, no? But of course, if you're facing customers, you're not supposed to be discussing those, no? Not unless they do ask you. But I believe in governments. If you're in working for in government, bawal eh. You cannot. Parang there was this one news that I read. Yun na nga, see, we're talking about news, di ba? So may balita na isang government official sa abroad, yung asawa niya nagbigay ng kanyang political view, so pinapauwi na siya, mawawalan pa siya ng trabaho because of that wife's beliefs, di ba? So but hindi yung wife na yun na careful, because alam mo yun, that husband's job is putting food on the table, di ba? Mga ganong bagay ba, di ba?
Correct.
So yes and no. So you need to understand what are the rules and practices are, what are the policies in your corporation or in your position.
Oo. Dapat alam mo yon. You know what you can say. So ang sabi dito, question, what can I do to be more immersed to current events and news? So Ziggy actually mentioned that already, na you have to read up. It's so easy to get information nowadays, no? So you can read.
Yeah, everything's online. Everything is free. I don't have any newspapers with me. I don't subscribe to any newspaper. I do not subscribe to any monthly service of any website. Everything is online. Everything is free. You just so ano yung mga websites na titingnan ko for business, you can look at Forbes, Fortune, you can look at all this free content online. Marami. Yahoo News, di ba? So, CNN
Correct.
News,
Marami
Inquirer,
na.
online, madami.
Oo. Piliin mo lang. Yun yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, di ba? Piliin mo lang yung sources.
But yun, the thing I subscribe to is Netflix. So, ayun, yung Netflix account ng girlfriend ko siya nagbabayad. So, but yun, I watch Netflix. Tapos nun, ang pinapanood ko sa Netflix, ang daming documentaries doon. So, not keeping up to date in terms of history. I'm a history buff. So, ang dami kong history documentaries na pinapanood, even business documentaries. In YouTube, marami din na mga free documentaries doon. So, ayun, that's where I get my info.
Places that the Ziggy recommends where to get your information. Okay. Ang hirap po kasi ngayon, ma'am. Okay. Work from home kami palagi. Does that have a factor po? Have a factor on what? Maybe in how you navigate your work or in possible opportunities in the future. What does it mean? Well, lahat naman work from home.
Current events on this topic, wala naman kasi everything is online. Baka yung chismis sa opisina ang sinasabi nyo, lahat ngayon nag-chismisan na naman sa chat. So, so I don't know how it really affects.
Oo, lahat naman ng yung mga platforms na nasa TV before or YouTube, talagang nilipat na rin nila naman sa online because para may opportunity lahat. Kasi madali siyang ma-access Especially you're already in your computer, you're working from home, diba? So, madali na lang. During your break, you can access some information, diba? Or in your phone, diba? So, madali na lang siya. I think I would assume that where she's coming from or this person is coming from is siguro yung time. Kasi I know work from home sometimes affects the boundary between personal and your time talaga, diba? So, that's another topic, but give time, no? Para lang naman, ang dami kasing
advantage. It have to be every day. You can do it once a week, once a month, twice a month. Basta just spend some time learning about these things to make you balanced.
Correct.
Have a balanced view in life.
Yes. It doesn't have to be every day. All right. Ano po masasabi niyo about the reliance of TikTok?
Well, for me, it's the future. Okay, let me give you the reason why Mark Zuckerberg changed his company from Facebook to Meta. Was that one? Of course, he sees that metaverse is the future, but also based on an article, he already did some studies that Facebook is dying. So actually, he's already lost a generation, the younger generation. So the younger generation are no longer into Facebook. So yung mga matatanda na lang gaya natin ng nasa Facebook. Yung mga bata, they're not into Facebook anymore. They're into TikTok, they're into Instagram. So he has lost a generation and he did everything to get it back, and apparently for nearly 8 years na hindi niya nagawa. So, having said that, TikTok is the future. And apparently, as I mentioned in the session, that you need to have that skill of compressing information in a short span of time, because that's a key skill in the future. And apparently, TikTok is doing that. So yeah, it's the future.
It's fun also. So why not, diba? Okay, another question here. May bearing po ba yung school para maging aware ako sa current events and news? May na-meet po akong mga magsasaka, feel ko mas maalam po sila sa akin sa current events and news. Well, siguro they have more time to read, no? And see kung anong mga news ngayon. you really have to immerse also in a situation para mas alam mo. Kasi ako personally, I would say na yung alam natin sa school, mga basic and theory yan, it's really up to you how you immerse doon sa field talaga. And getting all this information is part of that, di ba? Kasi alam mo rin. And I'm glad that you were able to meet this magsasaka, yung mga nakita mo sa field. Now you know, di ba, kung paano. But when it comes to school, I think all the schools naman encourage us to read from the right sources when it comes to current events. So I don't think merong mga school na would prohibit you to read, because I think it's also part of their subjects also, that you have to be aware of these current events. Yun ang sa akin.
Ako, for me, just don't rely on school. Because let me give an instance. I was telling one person before that, read up on crypto, read up on NFTs, read up on this and that, because it's the future. They said, oh, just learn it from school. It's like, no, you'll not learn those from school. The problem with school is, as I mentioned in the session, whatever it is that you're reading in your books may probably be outdated, because it was published, it was the time it takes to write a book, to publish it, and to print it out, and to give it out to the masses takes a long time. By the time you're reading it, it might be obsolete.
True.
Okay, so that's the problem. So you can't just rely on school. Your school, whatever you learn in school is based on the books that you read and how up to date your teachers are. So for me, I wouldn't want to rely on a group of teachers to determine my fate. So I would rather venture out and be open about learning other stuff. So that's all I have to say with regards to that.
We have to be responsible also with our careers, no? Hindi naman siya dependent kung sa school or mentor. You have to be responsible also about that. So, yun. Another question here. Oh, this is yours. Dapat po bang sumali sa political campaign rally? May mangyayari po ba sa karir ko noon?
Wala naman. I don't think so.
Wala naman. It's really your call. Oo.
Yeah.
Kasi iba naman yung political conviction and belief mo sa career mo. Oo. But just know kung anong participation mo doon. It's really all up to you. And you also have to be aware also with the company, kasi may ibang company na they don't wanna be, they would allow you, from my experience, they would allow you to join kasi personal mo yan eh, but then they would not want you posting it na it's the opinion of the company. So just know kung ano ba yung limits and boundaries on that, but of course nobody will stop you, and it's different siya, hindi naman siya related talaga, different things, two different things siya. That's for me. Oh, ito yung sabi ko sa'yo, Ziggy. NFT and crypto is weird to me. I don't think people should learn it, but I want to give the benefit of the doubt. So why should I?
Well, okay. Why is Adidas investing in NFTs? Why is JP Morgan? Why is HSBC buying properties, NFT properties in Decentraland and the Sandbox? Why is Fidelity Investments, why is UBS and all of these big institutions creating crypto offices in their specific companies? Why is there legislation right now in the US wherein you can now buy Bitcoin and other stocks, crypto ETFs in the markets? So I know whatever it is I'm saying is insane, or probably can't understand it right now. But the mere fact that you understand there's a Nike, there's HSBC, JP Morgan, and all of these big institutions entering, then there's probably something.
True.
And once it flows into our shores, it's already too late. You probably missed the boat. Diba?
Again,
I'm telling you now, it's a very good opportunity to learn this and to invest into this and get involved in this right now while still early, because it's going to be life-changing money.
I agree with you. So natutunan ko rin 'yan because Ziggy also shared that with us. So ayun. So I think that's all. That's all the questions that we have right now. Thank you for yung mga nagbigay ng question nila. I hope we answered them. And I hope you will enjoy the rest of the day dito sa ating Virtual Career Academy Summit 2022. Read up, no? That's all I can say. How about you, Siggy? Would you like to say something to our viewers right now?
Yeah. If you want help in your careers, feel free to contact us at the Metamorphosis Group. With regards to this topic, all I can say is just read up, be up to date, and Godspeed.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye for now. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.
The Virtual Career Academy Summit is co-organized by Metamorphosis Group, Metamorphosis Studios, Society of Sustainability Practitioners, and Sustainable PH, co-presented by Gather, in collaboration with NextPay and Microsoft.
Sponsored by Boca PH, Easy Installment Shopping, Grow Up, Astron Appliances, Zalora, Hatch Hub Service Offices, Honor Safety Training Center, and Remax Portfolio. Participated by Sun Life Kaya and Smarter Good. Academic Partner, ESSEC Business School.
Media Partners, Part of Business World, One in Manila, Business Mirror, LinkedIn Local, and Eco Business.
Community Partners, JCI Surigao Wensi,
JCI Quezon City Luna,
JCI Marilao Marilag,
JCI Malolos,
JCI Makati Princess Orduha,
JCI Imusalige,
JCI Greenfields,
JCI Kulintang,
Rotrack Club of AROMO,
Rotrack Manila Metro,
Rotrack Chiangkai Shek College,
Rotrack RCDM Scholars,
Rotrack District 3780,
Ateneo Mathematics Society,
Ateneo Box,
OSIAF,
Ateneo Lex,
Adobe Community Philippines,
ISEC,
GEMA,
Ateneo Psyche,
University of Santo Tomas UNESCO Club,
CodeGo,
Tomcat,
Google Developer Student Clubs, UP Manila,
Google Developer Student Clubs, Technological University of the Philippines,
Developer Student Clubs, Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila,
Digital Creatives Worldwide,
MechaniWeb,
UP SPECA,
ASEAN Youth Advocate Network,
Junior Philippine Institute of Accountants,
Investor Society,
Otago Filipino Students Association,
Association of Filipino Scholars in Taiwan,
Autodesk Community Philippines,
CAD Community,
Colegio de San Lorenzo, Quezon City.
Virtual Career Academy Summit.
No one is saying this kind of stuff about video chat, but they're saying it about Gather. Because Gather has what everyone needs right now. Space. Workspace. Event space. Social space. Is this annoying? Personal space. Even space. And whether it's for 2 people or 200,000, there's millions of ways to make it a custom space. We've hosted weddings, fashion shows, music festivals, conferences, product launches, whatever this is, college courses, celebrity meet and greets, NASA, and yes, whatever you're thinking of right now, there's space for it on Gather.
Remax is very great at training and support. The continuous growth for agents is always valuable. Also, the access to the global network is something that I found extremely beneficial. as the brand is easily recognized when you speak to someone.
Full commission concept, the unlimited earning potential is really what sets apart Remax. Setting up a Remax office from any other business that one might be interested to enter.
The Fire Up experience was really useful for me. Definitely learned a lot that I didn't know that I can now apply to my everyday work ethics and even just prospecting clients all the way up to closing a deal.
Through Remax Philippines, what we have is a global brand presence.
Remax has a pool of very professional agents within its network, so it's always great to be able to exchange with other professionals within the network. It's extremely valuable.
The people who join us also are given a good opportunity to shine and to also avail of such unlimited earning potential. And more importantly, I get to work with the best in the business through the Remax network.
To be a Remax agent means to serve with professionalism and integrity.
So for Remax, we're not like the others. There's nothing like Remax in the Philippines or in the world.
We are Remax!